Yes, I'm back. So prior to electrolysis, we had learned about some basic things. In the previous class, we were learning about the why LED bulb is suitable for testing the electrical conductivity of liquids, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Before that, there are some questions which I'd like to ask from you. Okay. So far in the chapters, we have learned about various basic things. So do tell me, what are some liquids that can conduct the electricity? Give some example of liquids.
So give some examples of the liquids.
Examples of liquids that will conduct electricity.
Okay, sir. Like seawater,
Hmm.
tap water,
Okay.
rainwater,
Okay, good.
and then the water from the wells and ponds.
Hmm. Good. And we can have some basically an acidic solution, a basic solution also,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, good. What do we call these liquids as? The liquids that conducts electricity. What do we call them? We have a proper term for them. We call them as electrolyte. Okay, now? And
Okay,
we'll be
sir.
learning about that in detail in this. Okay.
Okay.
Now in this light emitting diode, like this LED bulb, it has two LED. One is shorter, another one is the longer LED. So which LED is connected to the positive terminal?
So can you ask again?
The question is now, like in this LED, this has two LED. One is
Yes,
the
sir.
longer, one is the shorter. So out of the two LED, which one is connected to the positive terminal of the battery?
So the longer one,
Longer one. And the shorter one is connected to the negative terminal. Okay. Also, like when you are connecting this to the circuit, when you connect LED bulb instead of this, so will LED bulb be glowing because of heating effect or not because of that? Yes. It
So
will not
like,
be. It will not be working. For sure, it is not going to work due to heating effect,
yes, sir.
because there isn't anything in this like this tungsten wire or like this. Yes, Aisha, how are you?
Fine, sir. Alhamdulillah. How are you, sir?
Yes, I'm also good, Aisha. I'm Aisha. I'm going to give you some questions to do since the chapter chemical effect of electric. This is not in your syllabus now. In your upcoming exam,
No, sir.
no. So I'm going to give you to solve some questions from a chapter. I will be providing that in the chat box. Okay. And
Okay,
you
sir.
have to do it and send the answer in the class only. Okay, no? And your exam, Aisha, I think your exam is on 23rd or 19th. Can you just tell me, like, your exam is going to be in October or in September? Please let me know about that.
Okay, sir.
So which chapter you'd like to do? Like a coal, petroleum and combustion and flame, like a conservation of plants and animals? Or you have the reproduction in animals also, right? So combustion and flame.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'll be providing some questions. Okay, now. Meanwhile, pay attention here. Okay. So we were learning of this thing, why LED bulb is used and on what principle it works. Basically, the incandescent bulb, it glows because of the heating effect of the electric current. And this will glow basically when electric current will pass through it, so it will be glowing. The longer end is connected to the positive terminal, the shorter end is connected to the negative terminal. So these were the things we're learning in the previous class. Also, the concept of ion is clear to all of you know, the concept of ions, cations and anions.
Yes, sir.
Now, those are basically the charged particles, right?
Yes, sir.
They are charged particles. Okay. Also, one more thing I did told you guys in the previous class, like the flow of electricity in this conductor, like in this solid conductor, is due to the flow of electrons in it. The flow of electricity in a solid conductor, it is because of the flow of electrons in it. But the flow of current in a liquid, which is a conductor, a liquid which is a conductor, not all the liquids. So there the flow of current will take place because of the ions. Keep that in mind right now.
Okay,
And,
sir.
and only an impure liquid will be giving out ions. A pure liquid will not give out any ions. Like distilled water, it's not going to give out any ions. So we have different things that are called as electrolysis. Electrolytes, I mean to say. So there are some liquids which allows the electricity to pass through them, and they are called as electrolytes. Namely, if you were to have a acidic solution or basic solution, so that will be giving you this thing. Okay. I think there was one thing left to be discussed in the previous class. If I can recall, I did told you this thing that we'll be learning about like what if you were to take a magnetic compass. Okay, now magnetic compass here, and this same circuit. Let us say, okay, as we know that electric current generates different effects. Chemical effect of electric current is there, which is what we are learning in this chapter. Apart from that, electric current produces heating effect also, upon which different appliances like electric geysers, room heaters are based upon. But there's one more effect that is produced by the electricity. Can you guys tell me? There's one more effect that is produced when there's a flow of electricity. Are you guys able to recall? See, in place of this, I could have taken this thing also. Let us say K. Now, in order to have check right now, what we are doing, we are learning about the conductivity of the liquid. We can check it with the help of the electric bulb and with the help of the LED also. But LED are more suitable to use. But we can check it with the help of a magnetic compass also. So let us say that you have connected a magnetic compass here. This is the magnetic needle. This is the magnetic needle here. Where does the magnetic needle point to? In which direction it points? The magnetic needle, in which direction does it point? Yes, Ibrahim, how are you? The magnetic needle always points in the north direction or in the north-south direction? Okay. The direction, it is not relevant to this discussion. Just I'm telling you, like you guys should be aware of this. Okay. Like whenever you have a freely suspended magnet, like I have taken a piece of magnet, if I were to connect it with a piece of thread, so it will always align itself in the north-south direction. Like you have a magnet like this, you hold it with a piece of string, you have with a piece of thread, you're holding it. And if it were to be brought in a position of rest, so then it will always align in the north-south direction like this. Anyways, getting back to the main thing here, like with the help of a magnet also we can uh, check its presence. So we have placed a magnet here. Okay, we have placed a magnet here. So we, with the help of the magnet also, we can detect the weak electric current flowing through a liquid by using a compass here. Getting it? Like this is a magnetic compass here, and if there's a flow of electric current in this liquid, even if that electric current is weak, so we can detect it. So it can be done in the following manner. Like you can simply place it near to this circuit. Okay, now we can place it near to the circuit. So even if a weak electric current flows through the liquid in the circuit, the magnetic needle will show some deflection. It will show some movement. So magnetic needle shows deflection. So in that manner also, we can detect the presence of, we can detect that whether this liquid will be conducting electricity or not. Okay. So hope you guys have understood this thing. If there's confusion in it, please let me know.
So can you explain it again, please?
Sure. What about others? Okay. Basically, what we know that whenever there's a flow of electric current in a wire, it generates a magnetic field around it. You have a wire. If in that wire electric current is flowing, so it generates a magnetic field around it, like this. Basically, a magnetic field is that area within which the magnetic force is acting. Getting it? Like you have a bar magnet like this, for example. Let's say you have a bar magnet. So there's an area like this within which the magnetic force of this bar magnet acts. Meaning that if I were to place this iron nail outside this region, this will not be getting pulled by the magnet. But if I were to place it here now within this region, it will be getting attracted. Why? Because within this region only the magnetic force is acting. The magnetic force is acting in this region only. So this region is called as magnetic field. So same thing is true for a wire also. When there's a current flowing in a conducting wire, so that also creates a magnetic field. Getting the point, both of all of you?
Yes, sir.
So what if I were to bring a magnetic compass in this field, and magnetic compass has a magnetic needle in this now, right? So when when two things having magnetic property are brought close to each other, obviously there will be some movement between that. So here, the magnetic compass will show some movement. I mean to say this needle will show some movement. Same thing is happening here. Let us say कि current flows here. Even if the current is weak, so if the current flows here, so magnetic field will be generated around these wires now, isn't it, guys? Yes, Aisha,
Yes, sir.
Vaiga, and Ibrahim.
Yes, sir.
And this needle being magnetic, since it is in a region, since it is within the magnetic field, it is obviously going to show some deflection. So that is also one of the way how we can check whether a liquid conducts electricity or not. So there are three ways: by LED bulb, by this magnetic compass, and with the incandescent bulb also. But the more appropriate one is this magnetic compass and the LED bulb. They are the better options. So hope you guys have understood this thing. Okay. So today we would be learning about the chemical effect of electric current. We'd be learning about the process of electrolysis. So from here we are going to start this thing, start our discussion. So talking about electrolysis, it's basically the effect in which components of compound gets splitted due to passing of electric current through it. When electric current is passed and the components get split into ions, so thereby the process is called as electrolysis. Getting it now? Like you have taken some solution, you have taken a solution, and that solution should be a conducting liquid. Okay, now that should be a conducting liquid. And that conducting liquid will be called as electrolyte, which we are going to learn. But first of all, it is important to understand what is electrolysis. So as I said that it's a process of decomposing the compounds into the ions basically by passing an electric current through it. And in chemistry, this has several applications. This has several uses. Okay, na? In fact, this cell that you see, it is also a small example of electrolysis. The dry cell that we have at home, we use in battery, in a remote, and in many appliances, in toys. That in short is also one such example of a device in which electrolysis takes place. We'll be coming to this topic later on, but first of all, let us learn what exactly happens here. Okay, no? So to understand that, we are going to take help of this video here. So here what is happening? This is a glass beaker. We have taken two rods. Obviously, they are metal rods because metal are conductor. And we have taken a liquid and we have added some acid in that liquid. Okay, now? Like you have a acidified copper sulfate in this. Okay, now? Basically, in this copper sulfate has been added. So upon passing of the electricity, just pay attention to this thing. the copper sulfate, that is CuSO4, it is getting split into copper ions and sulfate ions. You guys can observe this thing. Yes, Vaiga, Aisha, and Ibrahim. Just pay attention to what I'm saying. Forget about the other things, like what is this anode, cathode. We'll be learning about that in a sequence. As of now, just tell me, while electric current was passed into this liquid, the liquid had the compound copper sulfate in it, and the copper sulfate is split into two half, like in copper and in sulfate. Is that much clear? Please let me know.
Yes, sir. That's clear.
Yes, sir.
Others? Good. So that is the whole process of electrolysis. Basically, we'll be learning about what is electrode and all that. Another important thing is now, like this electrolysis, it has several applications. It has so many applications right now, like the gold, the jewelry. In the making of the jewelry, electrolysis is used. In extracting the metal from their ores, electrolysis is used. In the process of galvanization, where a layer of zinc is plated over iron, there it is used. Not just in galvanization, there are several other examples also where one material is coated over another metal. We'll be learning about that. Okay. Also, all these photos that you can see over here, like this chromium or these different equipments that we see here, they are also made via these materials are also prepared via the electrolysis. We'll be learning all of that in a sequence. So first of all, talking about electrolysis. So in this, we have learned that due to passing of electric current, electrolyte will be breaking, a given compound will be breaking it, will be splitting into its component. That is the thing here. Then question is, what is an electrode here? Like these rods that you see here, we are going to learn about these. The first topic is electrodes. So electrodes are basically the conductors of electricity. These rods are the conductors of electricity that can carry the electric current into a non-metal or other poor conductors of electricity. Like this liquid, is it a metal or a non-metal? Like liquids, they are non-metal, obviously, right?
Non-metal.
Getting it? Now this, we can consider this as a non-metal. So the purpose of this electrode is to transmit the electric current into this non-metal, or also this liquid is a poor conductor as compared to this metal, obviously. Getting it, all of you? So its purpose is to carry the electric current into this non-metal, or it could be any other poor conductor of electricity also. That is what an electrode is. And there are two types of electrodes. So talking about electrodes, I have just told you that it is a metallic conductor of electricity that carries the current into non-metals and poor conductors of electricity. It is of two types. The first one is anode, another one is cathode. But how is it decided which is anode, which is cathode? Both of them look same here. So the anode is the one that is connected to the positive. The anode is the one that is connected to the positive terminal. Like you can see here, this rod has been connected to the positive terminal of the battery. So thereby this becomes positively charged. While the cathode is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, hence that becomes negatively charged. Got this, both of you, all of you?
Yes.
So
Yes,
it is
sir.
connected to, anode is connected to positive terminal of battery, while this one is connected to negative terminal. Okay, Aisha, as I told you, like I will be giving the question. So see, in the last 10 minutes of the class now, there will be a question answer session, and I will be asking questions to all of you. They will be answering the questions. Okay, now let's do it in that manner because you have to pay attention to the current chapter also, which is going on
Yes,
in the batch.
Captain, you're gonna ask questions.
No, I will be asking the questions in the last 10 to 15 minutes of the class.
Yeah, so which chapter?
It could be from any chapter.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that is an electrode. Hope you guys have got the concept. Next, we're going to learn about the electrolyte, that liquid which we have taken. Okay. So this liquid here, it could be any liquid, but it should be a conducting liquid. So it's basically a solution that breaks up into ions when electricity passes through it. That breaks up into ions when electricity passes through it. That is the case of the electrolyte. Getting it now? So it could be a acidic solution, a basic solution, and we can add salt in it also. We can add salts in it also. Getting it now? Or any other impurities. But mostly while experiments are carried on in the laboratory, so we mostly prefer acidic solution, basic, or a salt solution. Got this now? So by definition, we define electrolyte as a solution that breaks up into ions when electricity passes through it. That breaks up into ions when electricity passes through it. The examples of electrolytes are as follows. The examples are copper sulfate solution, sodium chloride solution, or we have sulfuric acid solution. Sulfuric acid solution. Note down, I am saying that they have to be solution. Okay, no, they have to be a solution because in the dry state, it will not be electrolyte. Okay, now if you were to have dry powder of copper sulfate, so it will not be conducting the electricity because it need to have some water in it. It will be all these things will be conducting electricity in their aqueous state only when water is present in them. Okay. So basically we can say that acidic basic or acidic basic or salt solution will conduct the electricity. So that is the thing. Okay. Now next we have anions and cations. Anions and cations. Were you guys noting it down? If anyone is noting it down, please let me know. No?
So I'm noting it down.
Okay, okay. By the way, Ibrahim, tell me, is sugar solution will sugar solution be an electrolyte? Is it a good conductor? Aisha, you can also answer this. And Vaiga, you also.
No, sir.
No, right now? Sugar solution is not a good conductor of electricity. So it will be not taken as an electrolyte. Keep that in mind. Oh, yes, done. Done now? Okay. Then talking about anions and cations. Anions and cations. Now talking about the anions. So anions are the negatively charged ions basically, while cations are the positively charged ions. So they are negatively charged ions, while cations they are positively charged ions. They are positively charged ions. Now take this example, like we have this glass beaker here. We have namely we have the anode and cathode in this. Let's say this is anode, this one is cathode. Anode and it is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, right? While the cathode is connected to the negative terminal. And let us again take the example of the copper sulfate solution here. Copper sulfate solution, that is the electrolyte here. Upon passing of the electric current, this gets splitted into copper and sulfate ions. Copper ions and sulfate ions. The first ion is the first part of the compound is always the positive ion. So this is copper ion, and which will be positive. And the sulfate ions is the negative ion. So positive ions, we know them by the name of cations, right? While the negative ions, we know them by the name of anions. So you guys answer this question to me. The anions, by logic, it should be depositing, it should be getting attracted towards which electrode? The anions, which are negative, it should be getting attracted towards the anode or the cathode. Answer this question to me. Have you guys understood? No? You guys got the question what I'm saying. Guess I'm audible to everyone in the class.
Towards the anode.
Towards the anode. Very good. Right now? Because we know unlike charges attract, so this will be getting attracted towards the anode. So copper anions like sulfate, it will be getting attracted here. Sulfate is the anion here, so it gets attracted towards the anode here. While the copper being positive will get attracted towards the cathode, which is negative. So another thing to be noted down is that anions are attracted towards anode, while cations, they are attracted towards cathode. If you ever get confused in this thing now, you can remember it just by looking at the first 2-3 letters of the word. Anions, anode. Anions, anode. Okay. Cations, cathode. In this manner. Just memorize the
sir,
first 3 letters. Yes.
anode is positively charged?
Yes, anode is positively charged.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, but you wrote it like anode is negatively charged.
Did I wrote it like that? No. Here, see, anode, it is connected to positive terminal of battery. So this is positively charged. Cathode
Okay,
is
sir.
connected to negative
Okay.
terminal. Okay, here also like I have marked this sign, a positive terminal. So this is anode.
Okay, sir.
In fact, it is easy to memorize. Just cations, cathode, anions, anode. So you can memorize it also. Next, we'll be learning about its applications. Okay, no? Also, like while this electrolysis reaction will be taking place now, when this electrolysis takes place, there are a few things which you will observe. First of all, write down these things if you guys are noting it down. Like there would be change in the color of the solution. There can be some deposition on the electrodes. Like there could be deposition of electrodes here, the deposition of something on the electrode, or there can be release of some gases or bubbles also. Right now, so depending upon the type of electrolyte, type of solution I have taken, and the type of electrodes I have taken, numerous things can happen. Either there can be some metallic deposition, or some change in the color of solution, or could be release of bubbles also. Can I change the slide now if you guys have noted it down? Vaiga,
Yes, sir.
see here what I mean to say now. Like in some of them here, like copper will be deposited over the brass here. All of you pay attention here, Ibrahim, Aisha, and Vaiga. Copper, this is also electrolysis here. In this electrolysis, what is happening? Copper from this electrode gets deposited over the brass. Look at the video of the same thing here. Beauty of the same thing here. Like you have copper here, not this one. There's another one. Okay, anyways. What I'm trying to say here is that in one of the electrolysis, what we are saying that copper gets deposited over the another metal here, over the brass here. That is one thing. In some of the reaction, you can observe that there could be change in the color of the solution also, or in some there can be evolution of bubbles, release of bubbles. Like in this electrolysis, what is happening? Bubbles are formed at the electrodes, as you can see here. Getting it, guys? And in some, even the colors can change. So another thing to be noted down is that based upon the type of electrolyte we have and electrodes, we can have the following observation. Following observation can be made. Like there could be some metal deposition on the electrodes. There could be some metallic deposition on electrodes. Furthermore, we can see change in color, change in color of solution. Third thing I said that it could be release of gas or production of bubbles also. Production of bubbles in the solution. So these are the things which can happen when electrolysis will be going on. Okay. Next, we're going to learn about applications of electrolysis. Okay, na? Like what are the applications of electrolysis? Basically, applications of chemical effect of electric current. So we can do the process of electroplating. Like we can do electroplating, which is based upon the chemical effect of electric current, where one metal can be deposited over another metal with the help of electric current, right? Or we can purify some metals also. Like if there's an impure metal, uh, with the help of electrolysis, we can purify it. Hmm? We can produce some new compounds, or we can break a given compound also. Like water can be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen with the help of based upon the chemical effect of electric current. So applications are as follows. The first application is electroplating. Next is that we can purify some metals also. So purification of metal. Then you have like we can produce some metals from their ores. Okay, now like we can extract the metal from their ores. So extraction of metal from ores. You guys understand what is ores? Hmm? Yes, Ibrahim, what is an ore?
Ores like coal, diamond, gold, emerald.
No, they are the minerals now. Like diamond is an important rock, I would say. Ores are kind of anyone else? Yes?
Like the materials present in like silver, gold.
No, not in that manner. Basically, ore is a kind of a rock. It contains so many minerals in it. Right now, so many minerals in it are present in a ore. For example, the silver that we obtain, is it found in a pure state in the nature, or iron that we obtain? It's not found in the pure state in the nature. It exists in the form of a rock. The first hand, when you look at a iron ore, for example, when you look at hematite looks like a rock. It's a piece of rock, but it has it has so many things in it. So many materials are present in it. Like hematite contains lots of things in it, but it has high concentration of iron in it. There's a high concentration of iron in it. Getting it? So this is a special piece of rock which has high concentration of iron in it, and it is called as iron ore, and it goes by the name of hematite. So ores are basically a kind of naturally occurring rock that will contain high concentration of a given mineral. Like here we have iron. Getting it? We have copper ore also. Apart from iron, we have copper ore, silver, gold ore, right now. So it's a kind of rock, but has a high concentration of a given mineral. That is the thing here. Okay, and higher you go in the crust of the earth, you will find ore with more valuable minerals. Okay, now like the diamond mines, it has to be dug deeper to extract the diamond. Getting it now? Or like aluminum or silver. So we have to dug deeper to find the ores of such minerals. The more valuable minerals are, the more deeper they are found in the earth's crust. Anyways, so extraction of metal from their ore. So like this iron, or like you have ore of example aluminum, that is bauxite. Bauxite, that is the ore of aluminum. So in order to extract it from the rock now, with the help of electrolysis, we can obtain it. Which is based upon the chemical effect of electric current, we can obtain aluminum from their ore. Got this thing now, all of you. So that is one such application of the chemical effect of electric current. Okay, that is one thing. One more thing was here that we can decompose some compound also. We can break down a compound, like water can be broken down. Getting it now? Water can be broken down. So decomposition of compound.
Supper is waiting for you.
Yes. Okay. If anyone is writing it down, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll be switching to the next topic. Decomposition of compound. There you had like when water can be split into hydrogen and oxygen. So decomposition here refers to splitting into its components. Now let us learn about the process of electroplating, like how what is electroplating and how it is done and how it is useful. So first of all, let me give you the idea about electroplating. Electroplating is basically the process of depositing a thin layer of a desired metal over a metal object with the help of electric current, obviously. Getting it? So that is what electroplating is. So many so many metallic objects are electroplated. Like you have some metal objects which should be usually electroplated with like chromium, like the one that you see over here. This is the door handle of the car door handle, and it has been electroplated with chromium. And chromium is a very lustrous and it is a very shiny metal. Okay. Then you have tin cans also, where iron is over the iron we apply a coating of tin. Then you have some copper wire. Over the copper wire coating of iron is done. I mean to say, over the copper wire coating of a gold is done. Getting it? Or in order to prevent the iron from rusting, a layer of zinc is applied over it. That is called as galvanization. So there are several applications of electroplating, but the simple thing here is that we are depositing a thin layer of a desired metal over a given metallic object with the help of electric current. So its purpose is to protect the metal objects from corrosion, or to make the object look more attractive. Like the tap is usually coated with the chromium. to prevent it from rusting and to make it attractive, also look more attractive, make it more shinier. So we are doing this process either to prevent the given metal from rusting for some decorative purposes also. Like for example, in the bathroom taps, they are made out of iron or steel. They will be usually electroplated with the chromium. Getting my point, all of you? That is the thing here.
Yes.
Okay. Aisha, please read the paragraph from here to here.
In order to conduct electroplating, right electrodes and electrolytes must be chosen so that metal can deposit over a material. For instance, if we want to deposit copper on a material, we need an electrolyte that contains copper in it. Similarly, if we need gold on a material, we need an electrolyte that contains gold in it.
Okay, stop there. So the first thing to be considered, like while we are doing the process of electroplating, let us say that I have taken the material on which electroplating has to be done is a brass here. Okay, I have taken the brass here. I want to deposit a layer of copper over the brass. So first thing, my aim is that I have to deposit a layer of copper over the brass. So the electrodes that I should be choosing, it should be appropriate. One of them should be copper, another one should be brass. Should I take an aluminum electrode or iron electrode? Will that make any sense? Yes, Ibrahim? Aisha? No? Getting it now, Maya. So first thing is you have to choose the
Yes.
right electrode. That is one thing. Then you have to choose the right electrolyte also. Like here we have chosen the copper sulfate. The electrolyte that we are going to choose here is the copper sulfate here. Okay. But let us say if I were to choose hydrochloric acid, will that make any sense here? No, let me explain why. I can't take hydrochloric acid here because of the following reason. As per the rule here, the first thing what we learned here is that the metal object now on which electroplating is done here. We have chosen that one, and the metal which we will be using to do electroplating, that has been done. Furthermore, another important thing to be kept in mind is that the electrolyte which we have chosen now, that should contain the metal which has to be which will be used to do the coating. Like copper is being used, this is the metal which will be applied over the brass. So this electrolyte must contain copper in it. It can't be hydrochloric acid. Why? Because hydrochloric acid does not contain copper in it. So the electrolyte which I have chosen, it must contain the metal which will be used for electroplating, which will be used to deposit over the desired object. Is the second point clear to all of you what I'm trying to say?
No,
Why
sir.
not getting it? The thing here is now, like we want to do the deposit of, we have to apply a thin layer of copper over the brass. So the electrolyte which I am choosing here now, that must contain copper in it. Basically, the material that will be used to deposit a coating over the another material, like I am going to use the copper right now. The deposit of layer of copper has to be deposited over the brass. So the electrolyte must contain copper in it. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So like, or for example, if you want to deposit copper on a material, we need an electrolyte on any other material. So we need an electrolyte that contains copper in it. Or in place of copper, let's say you want to deposit a layer of gold on a material. So we must contain the electrolyte which contains gold in it. Or you want to apply a coating of silver on a given material. So the electrolyte must contain silver in it. Getting my point? Or like take the case of galvanization. So you want to deposit a layer of zinc over the iron. You want to apply a layer of zinc over the iron. The symbol of iron is Fe in short. Okay. So I must take an electrolyte which should contain zinc in it. If I want to deposit a layer of gold over the copper wire, so I must take an electrolyte which must contain gold in it. Now getting it, what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Others? What about others?
Yes, sir.
That is the thing. Okay. Now, Vaiga, read from here.
Okay, sir. Also, we should make sure that the electrode that we are choosing is completely clean. The electrodes used are made up of different materials. One of the electrodes is of this same metal of which the electrolyte solution is. The second electrode needs to be the material on which we want to coat
Stop there.
another metal.
So important thing in this paragraph is that like one of the electrode is of the same metal on of which the electrolyte is. One of the electrode is here of the same material of which the electrolyte is. Like this one is copper electrode, and the electrolyte also contains copper in it. But the other electrode should be the material over which electroplating has to be done. That is what is being said in this. The second electrode needs to be the material on which we want to coat another metal. That is the thing. Continue.
Okay, sir. For instance, in case we want to plate copper upon brass, one electrode should be of copper and the other electrode should be of brass, and the electrolyte solution should be of any salt which contains copper in it. For example, copper sulfate solution. Consider the diagram given below that describes the process of electroplating of copper.
Right now. So what is being said here? Like you want to plate copper upon the brass. So obviously one electrode has to be copper, another one has to be has to be the brass. And the electrolyte solution, it could be any salt. It could be any salt other than copper sulfate, but it must contain copper in it. Okay, now. So it must contain copper in it. And the other electrode, it has to be a brass, right? Furthermore, one more thing, like the electrode should be kept, it should be clean. If it is not clean, it should be rubbed with a sandpaper. Getting it now? So electrolyte solution should be it could be any salt, but it should contain copper in it, like copper sulfate solution here. That is the thing here. And out of the two electrodes here now, one of them will be like the copper here is acting as the anode here. As you can see here, it has been connected to the positive terminal, while brass is acting here as the cathode, as it has been connected to the negative terminal. From here, we are going to continue this in the next class. Now, since we are left with only few minutes, so we are going to take up some questions. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So the previous chapters. So Vaiga, you are having like force, pressure, friction, and you have synthetic. Okay, that is
Synthetic.
okay. Although removed from the updated syllabus, I think you hadn't had the backup class for this chapter, no? Synthetic fiber.
No, sir, but then it's easy, but then friction is a bit hard.
Friction is a bit hard. Okay.
Yes,
Just
sir.
do one thing in the chat, in the comment box, like in the chat box, just write down the chapters which you haven't studied from me, like when you were absent
Okay,
in the batch. Just
Okay,
write down that. That will be convenient for me. So we can all take a common chapter, or like all of you are having this chapter is common, I think. Just let me go through it once. Mhm. Aisha, you're having crop production. Vaika is also having crop production. Ibrahim, you're also having crop production, no? Crop production management.
Yes, sir.
I think we had done some questions from that in the previous class. Conservation of plant is there, no? For Aisha and for Vaika, you. The conservation of plant is there for both of you, right?
Yes, sir.
But if, for Ibrahim, I think it is not for you. Okay, okay. So Ibrahim, you do one thing. You will be answering some questions from coal and petroleum. Okay. So from the chapter coal and petroleum, first of all, you tell me, you have to define the process of petroleum refining of the petroleum. All right. You guys have to answer from that one. And Aisha, you guys will be telling me about the Aisha, you will be telling me about the difference between wildlife sanctuary and a biosphere reserve. How they are different. While Vaiga, you will be explaining the difference. You will be explaining me about what was the aim of the project Tiger.
Okay, sir.
Let's just start from one of you. Yes. We don't have much
So
time,
I
guys.
should So what was it again? Can you say it again?
You have to explain about the objective of the Tiger Reserve.
Okay.
And you can tell me some other things also about it, like which was the first Tiger Reserve in India and other things in it also. Okay. Aisha, let me repeat your question. You had to explain about the difference between biosphere reserve and a wildlife sanctuary.
Okay, sir.
How they are different, what is their purpose, all those things. Yeah, one of you start. Who's going to start first? Okay, I'm going to take names then. Let's start from Ibrahim. This is Ibrahim. How is petrol refined? Yes. Yes, come on, guys, start now. Okay, Aisha, you start then.
Okay, sir. Wildlife sanctuary is an area where animal habitats and their surroundings are protected from disturbance. The capturing, killing, and poaching of animals is strictly prohibited there, while a biosphere reserve are the protected areas meant for conservation of plant and animals. It
Basically, we
also
can say biodiversity, we can say.
yes,
Conservation of biodiversity, we can say. Continue.
it also restores the traditional life of the tribals living there.
Good.
That's it.
Okay. Can you give one example of biosphere reserve? Give one example. Vaiga, give one example of biosphere reserve. Yes.
So what's sir?
Give an example of biosphere reserve. Biosphere reserve. Give one example. It starts from P. It's in Maharashtra or Madhya Pradesh, I think. You guys forgot about that. Guys, did you forget about the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve? Yeah. Yes, Aisha. We did learn about the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve now.
Yes, sir.
It's in Madhya Pradesh, I think. Yeah, it's in Madhya Pradesh. But, okay, then tell me an example of, give an example of wildlife sanctuary also. Vaiga, if you know, you can also give some example of wildlife sanctuaries.
Kaziranga National Park.
That's a national park now, not a wildlife sanctuary. We have to give example of wildlife sanctuary. Yes.
Like Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary.
Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary. Good. Where is it? Is it in
I think in Rajasthan, sir.
in Rajasthan? Very good. Okay, like you have some other wildlife sanctuary also, like Periyar Sanctuary in Kerala is there. Chinar and Periyar Sanctuary in Kerala. Vaiga, you are from Kerala, now, I think.
Yes, sir. I'm from Kerala.
So it is in there in Chinar and Periyar Sanctuary in Kerala. It is famous there.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Now moving on to the question of Ibrahim. Yes, Ibrahim. Okay, Ibrahim is not responding. Is he in the class? Yes, he is in the class, but not responding. Vaiga, you continue.
So actually, I don't remember the Project Tiger because I was not there when you took this chapter.
Okay. No worries.
Yes, sir.
Then you can explain me about the mm, like in the chapter conservation of plants and animals. We have learned about so many things. What are the different names of different zones of a biosphere reserve?
What, sir?
What are the different zones of a biosphere reserve? A biosphere reserve is divided into different zones now. A biosphere reserve, it is divided into different zones. There are different zones. Getting my point? Like they are
Yes,
different
sir.
zones, like this, this, and this. So what do we call them as? Yes. Or not, like if I were to forward this question to Aisha, Vaiga, you can tell me about the red data book. What is the purpose of red data book?
Okay, sir.
Yes, we had learned about a red data book.
Yes, sir.
Like what does it contain? What is its aim?
Like it's a record of like information on all the threatened species of plants and animals
Exactly.
all over the world.
All over the very good. Also in this now, the different organisms have been classified into different categories. Okay, there are 8 or 9 categories. Like if there is some organism of least concern, some of them are near threatened, some of them are
Yes, sir.
endangered, some of them are critically endangered. Even if some of them are extinct, that is also mentioned. And red data book, it is published by IUCN. By IUCN, that is International
Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resource.
Natural Resource. Very good. Okay, so that is the IUCN which publishes its data. Okay,
Yes.
that is the thing. Okay, Ibrahim, you had to explain the about petroleum refining. Now, how petroleum refining is done. What is it basically? Okay, just tell me what is the fundamental principle of refining the petroleum. On which principle is it based? Okay, there was one question that was forwarded to you, Aisha. I think it was on this now different zones of the biosphere reserve. Yes,
Sir,
Aisha.
core, buffer, and transition.
Very good, very good. Okay, in which one of the tribal peoples are allowed to leave?
Transition.
Transition zone. Good. Okay. Talking about the petroleum refining, anyone would like to explain that out of from you guys, from Aisha and from Vaiga? It's a process where the various components of the crude oil are separated, and it is based upon the fact that different components of the crude oil have got different boiling point. So different vapors of different
Yes,
components
sir.
would be rising up at different temperature, and as they goes up higher up in the chamber now, they start to condense. They start to condense, and from different chambers they will be taken out. Like you have diesel, kerosene oil, petrol oil, butane, and propane. Right? Butane and propane would be a kind of evaporating at 20 degrees Celsius. Right? And they comes out from the topmost chamber of the of the petroleum refinery.